May it please the court, Mojola Oluwa living stones for the plaintiff. Hi guys, welcome to my channel. I'm so happy to have you here again. Yay! If this is your first time on this channel, my name is Mojola Oluwa. The short form is Ola. That's why the channel is called Bar Talk with Ola. This channel is all about law, and law. I started the channel to chronicle my journey as a Nigerian lawyer, talking about the cases I handle, the things I see in courts, the rules of law in Nigeria, and of course international law, international practices. But essentially, everything is about law. Welcome. Please subscribe to my channel, like my videos, leave me comments in the comment section, and tell your friends about me. Thank you. Today, I want to start a series called 10 Things You Should Never Do in a Nigerian Court. 10 things you should never do in a Nigerian court. Yes. So I'm going to start, and hopefully we can finish it today. If not, I'll continue in the next episode. The very first thing you don't want to do in a Nigerian court is to arrive late. You should never arrive late in a Nigerian court. Now, courts in Nigeria sit by 9 a.m., but sometimes some judges in some jurisdictions allow courts to sit later. Courts generally sit by 9 a.m. in Nigeria. So it's advisable you are in court before 9. Anytime before 9 is fine. In some other places, you might have to go maybe like 8:30 or 8 o'clock. Like when I went to the Court of Appeal with my principal sometime, I know that at some point, maybe 8:30 or thereabouts, they closed the record. The record at the Court of Appeal, and some other courts also use it, is basically the course list for the day. So there's a copy in which lawyers have to write their names beside the cases they are handling for the day and sign. It makes it easy for judges to spell their names when they are entering their appearance later. So I know that for some courts, they might have a rule of we're closing the register by 8:30 or thereabouts. I know there was something like that the time I went to Court of Appeal. But essentially, you should be in court anytime from 8 o'clock. Between 8 and 9, just find your way to court. Settle and sit down before the judge arrives. It's very important because it allows you to settle down. It allows you to acclimatize with the court situation. So you know what you're adjusting, you're dressing, and what you're not adjusting for the day. So it allows you to familiarize with other lawyers. It allows you to familiarize yourself with the court environment, to maybe chat with the registrars, to position your clients where they should sit. And it also helps you to familiarize yourself with the weather condition, so you know if you're going to adjust anything in your dressing depending on how hot or how cold the court is and is going to be that day. It also helps you to sit in a proper place. For a court that has not made any provision to amplify the voice of lawyers or judges, you might want to sit very close to the front, after you've left the SAN allowance for them. If you're not an SAN, you might want to sit very close, very near to the front, so that the court can hear your voice when it's your turn. It's very important for you to be early. Punctuality, they say, is the soul of business. It also puts you in the good books of judges because judges take note. I remember one time I was in court and there was this lawyer that was always perpetually coming late. Although he practiced outside jurisdiction, I used to come in from outside jurisdiction. But there was this day the judge just had to tongue lash him and was telling him how unsettled he always is, how he always comes late and all of that. And then he went ahead to point out the lawyer that comes early, a particular lawyer that also comes from outside the jurisdiction, saying, oh, each time I come to court, I always meet Mr. So. And he comes from outside the jurisdiction like you, blah, 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 and all of that. So very important, come early. Also, in some courts, there are limited spaces. So it's important for you to come early so that you can get a place to sit. And you can sit anywhere you like. Also, in Nigeria, when the judgment is being read, the court is closed. You can't enter the court when the judgment is being read. I think it's very important so that the judge does not lose focus and is not easily distracted. It's not only for judgment, it's very good for all of the proceedings. So there might be judges who would not even allow you to enter once they sit. I have not encountered such, but there might be. So it's very important for you to come early. And when you come early, you sit, you pick a spot, you sit down, you settle, and then you do what you have come to do for the day. It's very important. Punctuality is very important. So the first thing is you do not want to come late to a Nigerian court. Another thing you don't want to do in Nigerian court is not to dress properly when going to a Nigerian court. It's very important. You need to dress properly anytime you're going to a Nigerian court, whether you're the litigant, the counsel, the judge, the registrar, or just a court attendee or a witness. Whoever you are, you have to dress properly at all times. Proper dressing is very important. Dress properly to a Nigerian court as if your life depends on it. I know that there was a day I was in court and then there was this man representing a bank and his tie was loose and his last button unbuttoned, and the judge really made a show of him that day. I remember the judge asking him, "Oh, Mr. So why can't you button your shirt? Come to the front." He came to the front. The judge asked him, "Button your shirt, my friend," and he was really stern. And then the man tried to explain that he couldn't button it, that it was because of, and then his lawyer tried to explain that it was because of the weather and all of that. Apparently the man's neck was too fat for the shirt, but the judge insisted, "Button your shirt." "Oh, because you're head of credit at your bank, you think we want to borrow money from you." "My friend, button your shirt." At the end of the day, it was like, "If you're not careful, I'll send you and your counsel to jail if you won't dress properly." So the man had to button his shirt. I know that there was another time when this man came into court mid-session and he was in shorts. The judge, a no-nonsense man, sent him out of court. He sent him out unceremoniously. The man had to go back and change. Later, the man was called to the front to testify. So we found out that he was actually a witness. I think he had just been elected into a political office. So the judge was like, "Oh, is that why you could not dress properly? Is that why you came into my court wearing shorts?" So dressing properly is very important. And then the standard of what is proper can also dance to the whims and caprices of each judge. So you have to be very careful. If you're going to a court where you don't know the judge or you don't know the practice, best to dress properly. Proper according to the standards of everyday life. I know that there was one time I was in court again, and then there was a case that was going on. I think it was the first case to go on that day. Other matters were being adjourned and they were moving motions and all of that. And then the witness came in and he was wearing jeans, just casual wear. But the judge was not having it. The judge had to send him out of the court and told him to go and dress properly. So he had to go back home to go and dress properly. Not even the complaint of the counsel that it was their star witness made the judge change his mind. Eventually, that case was the last case to be taken for the day. And then the witness had to come back dressed properly. I wouldn't say it was too different from what he was wearing initially, but at least in the eye of the judge, was now dressing properly. So the standard of proper dressing can dance to the whims and caprices of judges. So you want to be very careful and you want to be very cautious in what you wear to court. Dressing properly is also very important for lawyers. You don't want to be embarrassed before your clients. I know that there was one time I was at the Court of Appeal and this lady lawyer announced her appearance and the judge had to ask her, the presiding judge, who was a woman, to ask her if she had a jacket under her gown. She replied in the affirmative, and then she was asked to show the court the jacket. She showed us the jacket. Apparently, it was small, so it couldn't be buttoned. But the judge insisted that she had to button her jacket. And only after she buttoned the jacket could she continue with the matter. It gets funny. At the end of the day, when she was leaving the court, the judge called her back and told her to button the jacket again. Apparently, she had unbuttoned after her appearance. So she had to button again and leave. I remember the judge making a joke of the jacket having gotten smaller because she knows that ladies don't like to be told that they've gotten bigger. Whatever the case, you want to dress properly before going to a Nigerian court, whoever you are. I know that a judge had once complained about the appearance of his registrar too. So no one is left out. Dress properly to court, whoever you are. The third thing you don't want to do in a Nigerian court is to go to court with funky hair. I know that Nigerians are very prejudicial when it comes to hairdo, whether you're a male or a female, and it cuts across every aspect of our lives. Whether you go to church, you go to a government agency, you're in class as a student, even at home, your parents, wherever you are, there's a prejudice about hairdo in Nigeria. It's either it's too rough, it's too big, it's too flashy, it's not proper, it's not decent. So Nigerian court is not a place for you to express your hair creativity. Please and please keep your hair modest and moderate. I know that one day I was in court and this lady lawyer had done this fine hairdo. She had just done it. And then the judge picked on her that day and was like, "Oh, Miss So and so, this hair is not proper. I want you to take it down." And he was like, "Can you bow in that hair? Bow, let's see." When he says bow, it means bowing as a lawyer. You are to bow when you're entering the bar and bow when you're going out of the bar. That is when you're entering court and leaving court. So most times, lady lawyers with big hair have to hold on to their wig on their head each time they're bowing. And some judges frown at this. So the judge that day had to tell her that, "Can you bow properly in this hair? I want you to take it down." I noticed that, "When did you make this hair?" It was so funny. He had to ask her when she made the hair. And when she told us, he said, "Oh, he's giving her the grace of certain weeks for her to take the hair down. He doesn't want to see it after Easter." I remember he said after Easter, he doesn't want to see the hair. So you don't want to go through that kind of embarrassment in a Nigerian court. So keep your hair moderate and modest, whether you're a man or a woman. Nigerian judges don't like to see afro, they don't like to see punk, they don't like to see big hair or funky hair or any sort of creativity when it comes to hairdo. So please keep it simple and keep it moderate. Another thing you don't want to do in a Nigerian court is to leave your phone on. Oh my, don't do it. Don't do it. Do not be tempted to do it. Turn your phone off once you're entering Nigerian court or put it on silence. Even vibration is not good enough sometimes. So put it on silence. Whether you're a registrar, whether you're the litigant, you're a witness in the matter, you're an ordinary court attendee, or you're the counsel in the matter, please and please turn off your phone or put it on silence. It's very important. Nigerian judges frown at this, and it's called decorum normally. Some of these things I'm telling you about are things that can send you to jail for contempt of court. So it's very important. Even though judges are now kinder and judges are now less strict with some of these rules and regulations, it's still very important to be safe than sorry. I know there was a time a woman's phone rang in court and the judge made her come to the front and made a show of her. He was threatening to put her in jail and put her away. He was threatening to put her away in jail. And I know there was a time a man's phone rang and the judge made him come to the front, and asked him to choose between his phone and going to jail. So sometimes Nigerian judges can be very strict about that. You don't want to go to court and end up in jail just because your phone rang. And then some people have very funny ringtones. They just disrupt the entire court atmosphere. So it's very important for you to keep your phone on silence or to turn it off when going to a Nigerian court. Another thing you don't want to do in Nigerian court is to laugh too much. Yes, I said that. You don't want to laugh too much in a Nigerian court. It's very, 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 very important. Nigerian courts can get funny sometimes, especially if you go to a high court in a local district where maybe there's an interpreter and some people cannot speak English and they're interpreting the language and all of that, and there's some local language interwoven into the matter. It can get really funny. Even if not, some litigants are very funny on their own, and some lawyers too are hilarity personified. So it's very important for you to laugh in moderation. I say this because I've been in court once and there was a joke. Somebody made a joke and everyone laughed, including the judge. And by the time the judge was done laughing, some boys were still laughing. They were laughing with reckless abandon. The judge picked on them and snapped at them. Why are you laughing? What do you mean? You're laughing and falling on each other's shoulders in my court. Are you gay? It was so funny. And so laughter turned to something else. So it's very important for you to laugh in moderation if you're going to laugh at all. The Nigerian court is a serious affair. You want to be very serious as you can be. Just make sure you get what you come to court to do done and live in peace. Another thing you don't want to do in Nigerian court is to be chatty. You don't want to be chatting in Nigerian court. It's not a bar. It's not a restaurant. It's not your dressing room. It's not your locker room. It's not your parlor, your sitting room. It's nowhere for you to be gisting. So please, especially if you go to court with your friend or with your colleague and you're all chatty and all of that, you can get into trouble very easily. So it's very important for you not to be chatty in a Nigerian court. This is important because, sometimes judges won't say a word, but they're taking notes, especially if you're a lawyer. So they're taking notes and judges talk. They talk amongst themselves. So they're probably telling their colleagues what kind of lawyer you are at your back. So one day, someday, push might come to shove and then they will bring everything will come crumbling down on you. And then you will just hear them referring to that time when you were talking to someone in their presence, that time when you were chatting in court, that time when you were doing this, when you were doing that. So it's very important for you not to be chatty in a Nigerian court. You're allowed to talk, you're allowed to whisper, you're allowed to, maybe signal to somebody on your team or signal to somebody to come, send them somewhere, make signs, whisper generally and talk as the need be. But it's important for you not to be chatty. As a litigant too, it's very important for you not to be chatty. You know how the Bible says that where there's multiplicity of words, sin abounds. It's the same thing in Nigerian court. When you talk too much, you give away too much. And at the end, you can spoil your own matter, especially as a litigant, as a lawyer, as a witness in court. You can easily spoil your own matter by talking too much. So it's important for you to know what to say, when to say it, and to know when to keep quiet and stop talking. So you don't want to be chatty in a Nigerian court. Another thing you don't want to do in a Nigerian court is to go to court and announce your appearance as holding brief. That's no longer the rule in a Nigerian court. You don't hold briefs any longer because there's a Supreme Court ruling that says that a lawyer holding brief is deemed as properly briefed. So it's important for you to do your homework, even if you're standing in for a colleague who has just informed you about the matter that morning or minutes to that time. It's important for you to get the facts straight, to get all the information you need, and to represent the client and your colleague very well. I know there was a time I was at the Court of Appeal and this lady announced her appearance and then something went wrong in the matter and then she gave the excuse that she was merely holding brief for her colleague. The judge fired back at her that if she was holding brief for her colleague, since they were in the same firm, she should know enough about the matter to represent the firm properly. So you don't want to be embarrassed by a judge like that. So it's important for you to get your facts straight, do your homework, and to represent your client in the matter as if you have been properly briefed. Very important. Else, if you're asked to stand in, it's better to decline than to go to court and go and fumble. I know that we're smarter than each other and some people can get some things easily, more easily than other people. But it's important to at least get the basic facts, know where the case is at, what has gone on in the matter, what is supposed to go on that day, what you're supposed to do as a lawyer, and do just that. So it's very important for you to represent your client very well. It's very important for you to enter a good appearance. No holding brief. Another thing you don't want to do in a Nigerian court is to go to court and fight about age at the bar. Please, please, and please. That's very shabby and shoddy. As a lawyer, don't do it. You would be tempted, but it's best if you don't give in to temptation. Don't go to court fighting about age. Oh, I'm senior to you. Oh, you're junior to me. Oh, you shouldn't be sitting down there and all of that. The court knows what to do at all times. Allow the court to do its job. And if you think somebody is being disrespectful to you, it's better to take that matter out of the court and not bring it up in court. I'll tell you in another episode how a judge walked out on all of us once in court because some lawyers decided to be fighting about age at the bar. And it turned out they were callmates, maybe differentiated by months of call and all of that. So it's very important as a Nigerian lawyer, please don't go to court and fight about age. I've been in court different times when lawyers have done this. In fact, I was in court one day and then some lawyers were wondering if another lawyer on the other side of the bar was senior to them and if he should announce his appearance first or if they should announce theirs before him. Do you know one of the lawyers had to cross the bar to go and ask the man for his age at the bar? And then he came back telling us, oh, he's junior to us, we can announce our appearance. I know sometimes you might be in a hurry, you want to go somewhere, so you want to leverage on that to quickly enter your appearance, do your business, and leave. If you can get away with it, please do. But if it's going to cost you your reputation, if it's going to cause a ruckus, it's important and preferable not to do it. Just let it go, okay? Nobody died because they didn't claim their age. Nobody ever died. So please, you don't want to go to a Nigerian court and start fighting about age. The ninth thing you should never do in a Nigerian court is to go to court unprepared, especially if you're the counsel in the matter or a witness. Make sure you're prepared before you go. If you're a witness in the matter, make sure you've done witness prep with your lawyer. It's important. Don't try to wing it. Sometimes you might wing it in the wrong direction. So it's very important. Insist on it. Make sure, and as a lawyer, insist on it as well for your clients. Make sure you've done witness prep before you put your witness in the box or allow another lawyer to put him or her in the box. It's very important to be prepared in a Nigerian court. Whatever you're going there to do. I've told you about how I was in court and then the judges were cross with a lady lawyer because she was apparently unprepared, even though she was blaming it on holding brief for her colleague. At another time, I was in court and there was this senior lawyer who came to court to move a motion that was already moved. Like the motion had been moved by his junior counsel weeks before that. And then he came to court to move the motion that day. The judge had to say, oh, Mr. So-and-so, this motion has been moved and has been granted. Then he had to quickly confer with his juniors before apologizing to the court and then moving on with his matter. It's very embarrassing, especially if you're a young up-and-coming lawyer. It looks very bad on you with your clients and with prospective employers, even with the judges. You know, I told you judges, they observe and they take notes and they discuss lawyers amongst themselves. It gives you a bad reputation all around. So it's very important for you to always be prepared. Do your homework before you go to court. If you cannot, make sure you have a substitute, somebody ready to do the homework for you and go to court on your behalf. So it's very important to always be prepared. The last but not the least, the number 10 thing that you should never ever do in a Nigerian court is to sleep. Never ever go to a Nigerian court and sleep. Whoever you are, please do not go to a Nigerian court and sleep. Even if you're tired, even if you're fagged out, make sure to keep your eyes open during the proceedings. It's contempt of court. It can land you in jail and it can get you in bigger trouble, especially if you're a counsel. You know, it can get you in a lot of trouble, a whole lot of trouble. So it's very important, even if you're not the counsel on the matter at the time. If it's not your matter, if you're still waiting for your own appearance, or if you have accompanied a senior and you are not the main counsel in the matter, whoever you are, do not go to a Nigerian court To sleep, please open your eyes and keep your mind alert. Very important. Eternal vigilance is the price of liberty. You've heard that saying, so it's very important for you to be alert and awake in a Nigerian court. Do not go there and sleep. You can say, "Oh, I just want to nap for a while." You might nap and then start snoring. And from snoring to jail. So very important. Do not sleep in a Nigerian court. I hope you learned one or two things on this episode of 10 things you should never do in a Nigerian court. Please subscribe to my channel, like my video, leave me comments. What are all the things you think one should never do in a Nigerian court? Which of these things have you done that has landed you in trouble that you've gotten away with? Let me know in the comment section. And please share this video with your friends. Tell everyone that needs to watch and listen to it. Thank you. Ciao.